Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Klim from Turn to the Stars, and I want to say thanks for tuning in today. I'm going to be covering the astrological influences around the new moon in Libra coming up on October 6th. But before I begin, I want to say thank you to everyone for your prayers and all your support over the course of the last couple of months as I was managing and dealing with some significant health challenges. And your prayers and all your support made a huge difference. So I want to say thank you. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you what that chart looks like for the new moon in Libra. Just one moment while I get that on my screen. And here we go. And we can see that new moon is right over here, occurring at 13 degrees of Libra at 6:04. It's actually at 6:04 a.m. There's a little bit of a fluctuation here in the chart that I created for the exact moment of that new moon. However, we can also see, new moons are major markers of new beginnings, meaning that the spirit, which is the sun, and the moon, which is the emotion and feelings, have come together. The feminine and the masculine have come together for a new start. The sign of Libra, Libra is all about peace and harmony and balance and negotiation and being diplomatic. And with this new moon, we see that Mars is right next to it. So this could influence some aggressive type of behavioral patterns. So it's going to be very important for us to recognize, realize, and give attention to our actions and what it is that motivates us, and also to things that can make us angry or upset or enraged, and in particular, so setting intentions around our relating with other people and how we relate to them, and recognizing when we're out of balance and when we are acting from a more aggressive standpoint. And you can also see that Mercury is retrograde. This happened Mercury turned retrograde on September 27th, and it's going to remain retrograde through October 18th. And so that is an indication that we are in the process of revisiting different areas that we have talked about, thought about, are, in the process of pondering. And so Mercury retrograde is a time where we should, what's in our best interest is that we revisit, we review, and just all the look at the different resources we have, because Mercury is the planet that provides us with the means to a better future when it goes backwards. So it's like we turn around and we go back and we walk over and revisit areas that we've already traveled, and it's always with good reason. So if we look at Mercury, Mercury is also in square to Pluto on this new moon. So it is another big caution for us to take our time, go slow, and to hold off on making any major decisions that, if we can at all help ourselves in doing that. And Mercury retrograde is not a good time for surgery. If you have surgery during this time, you'll be going back and revisiting that. There'll be something that's forgotten. The energy is unstable while Mercury is retrograde. Now in Libra, it is all about finding our peace, our sense of harmony and balance with Mercury in Libra. It's about talking to other people about what it is that they may feel is out of balance in their life too. And so, and it's not about, because Mercury is squaring Pluto, so there could be this sense that is all around of people wanting to control conversations or to tell other people what to do. And Mercury, Pluto in Capricorn is telling us that there's, as you all know, major changes and transitions happening in our governments and our businesses. And so with Mercury and square to Pluto, it's big caution sign. Hold off, be careful what you communicate. Be careful what you're thinking about. Be careful how you proceed with your words, because it could cause, especially with Mercury on this new moon right next to Mars, people may be speaking from a place of anger rather than a place of humility. So this is a theme that we all need to be careful of on this new moon. We also need to be careful with this new moon is exactly in conjunct Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of rebellion, awakening, unexpected things happening, and, just acting without thinking. And so it's very important when we feel that there's a level of conflict, that we slow down and take our time and figure out how to overcome these conflicts, make the adjustments that are necessary without having huge explosions. But it is possible that those explosions are going to happen during this new moon phase. And, October is a very pivotal month because we've got some major planets here going to turn direct. We've got Saturn, the first planet, and that means that their motion is going to be one that turns around from, it's been held back. The outward energy or movement, being able to move ahead, has been held back. So if we're working with the energies that surround us, then we have used the retrogrades and worked with these retrogrades and done our inner work, done our inner reflection. And so Pluto on October 7th is going to turn direct at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So it's like this big truck that shifts gears from reverse to neutral and then to forward. And that is supportive of us taking all those things that have changed in our life and now moving forward with those structures and finding what jewels there are that were associated with that journey. What's the good that you can take from that and move forward? That's primarily what this, retrograde season, with all these major pivotal shifts, that it's going to pick up the pace of things around us. We're going to see that happen. We also see that on Jupiter, actually the next planet to go direct is Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of structure, the planet of limitation, the planet of hard work and karma. And it's also associated with Father Time. And so that's going to go direct on October 11th. So wherever this planet is in your chart, this is where all the things that you've worked so hard on to learn are now moving forward. And it's associated with your goals in your community and, humanity. All of humanity is feeling the limitations and the restrictions. And so now we're moving forward with all of what we've been working so hard on inwardly. And then on October 17th, around the time of the full moon in Aries, on this lunar cycle that we're on, is going to turn direct. And Jupiter, now it's time to expand outwardly with all these ideas or thoughts, or, Aquarius is all about the whole. It's about uniting. So how do we expand with these outer tensions? And so we've got some big shifting happening in October. So like I said before, it is a pivotal month. And one of the things that's also very prevalent on this new moon is that it is exactly opposite Chiron, the wounded healer, the asteroid that tells us where our wounds are. And so we may end up making some decisions on how we're relating with other people. Do we work together to find a happy ground or a common ground, or do we separate? Do we go our own way? And so ideally, Chiron is the symbol that brings to our attention where healing can happen. And so we all have a lot of healing that's going on within ourselves. Aries is a sign associated with the self. So for us to be cognizant and be very aware that we're putting our physical energy into positive avenues on this new moon is going to be really, really important. And so if you have a birthday, if you're born around the 6th of any month, this is going to be a significant new moon for you, meaning especially if you are an Aquarius or you have planets around 13 degrees of Aquarius, or if you're a Gemini with planets around 13 degrees of Aquarius. So if you want to know more about that, I'd be happy to, set up a reading for you. I am back to work, and I'd be happy to talk about those things that are very prevalent at this time. This month, October, is the month that, following the eclipses that occurred back in May and June, this is the month where we are completing things from that journey, from that path that we've been on. And so how do we relate to that? How do we cross these bridges? This is the big question on this new moon. And so let me just stop sharing the screen. And I want to pick, as I'm a practitioner of shamanism and work in close alignment with nature, I like to bring some animal wisdom for all of you by asking, what is the most important message for all of humanity right now? And I got the polar bear, and it's looking up to the heavens, and the message is to stand up for yourself and speak your truth respectfully and compassionately with no attachment to outcome. So, there's a lot of creativity. Libra is ruled by Venus, so there is a strong creativity that's present on this new moon. And let's see, the polar bear. So the message is very profoundly, when you express yourself from your heart and from a place of power, it's an unbeatable combination. You don't need to growl or bully, nor do you need to fade into the background and deny yourself the opportunity to directly affect the situation by showing up and being completely present. Even when you're simply listening, you're a force to be reckoned with. Ask for what you want and see what happens. Don't get worked up about how it turns out. You may or may not get what you want, but at least your chances are better if you do ask. As for setting boundaries with others, such as saying no to requests or demands, when you do so, they may respect those boundaries or try to test them. If they do test the limits you've set, stand your ground, be clear, and don't apologize. Approach all situations with the purity and innocence of a child and the focused intensity of a true warrior, one who doesn't speak or act from anger, but from a place of truth and dignity. Know that when you do so, you'll have nothing to fear. So words of association that are really important on this new moon are fearlessness, purity, leadership, powerful, provider, self-control, conservation, strength, wisdom, nobility, intensity, playfulness, and adaptability. So on this new moon in Libra, I think the best advice I could give is to be diplomatic. Libra encourages us to be diplomatic, It encourages us to cross these bridges in our lives and relating with the world and relating to ourselves from a place of peace rather than a place of imbalance. So if you have any questions regarding your astrology coming up in the month of October and the eclipses that are just around the corner, which are setting the stage for the next 6 months of changes and where those changes are going to be occurring in your life, please feel free to contact me. My email is andrea@turntothestars.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And once again, thank you everyone for all your support over the course of the last 3 months. Take good care and remember, turn to the stars and you'll find your answers there. See you soon.